Stop everything you're doing right now. In the next few seconds, I'm going to reveal the one thing that guarantees a woman's loyalty. And no, it's not what you think. It's not money, it's not looks, it's not even being good in bed. It's something so rare that less than 3% of men apply it. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean. Your light doesn't chase ships, begging to guide them. The ships are the ones that orient themselves by your light, trust it, and depend on it not to sink. That's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. How to become that unshakable lighthouse that effortlessly attracts and maintains female loyalty. Look, I know you've tried everything. You've given expensive gifts, sent good morning messages every single day, made elaborate surprises. And even so, you feel that insecurity gnawing at you inside. The fear that at any moment she might find someone better. You keep checking her phone out of the corner of your eye. You get tense when she goes out with her friends. Pay attention, this isn't a life. This paranoia is destroying you from the inside. Every day that passes, you become more insecure, more needy, more desperate for guarantees. And the more you try to hold on, the more she slips through your fingers like sand. It's a macabre dance where you always lose. Do you know what happens when a man lives like this? He becomes an emotional beggar. A guy who begs for crumbs of attention. Who negotiates his own worth in exchange for a false sense of security. And no woman, listen carefully. No woman respects an emotional beggar. Now I'm going to tell you something that almost no one notices. After 10 years of studying male psychology and relationship dynamics, helping thousands of men transform their lives, I discovered an ultra-rare pattern. The men who achieve genuine loyalty don't chase, don't beg, don't negotiate. They do something completely different. They master the circle of loyal attraction. It's a simple, but powerful, framework that I'm going to share with you now. Inner confidence, emotional autonomy, and purposeful leadership. When you master these three elements, female loyalty becomes a natural consequence. It's not magic, it's applied psychology. Pay attention, because now I'm going to show you the 5 fundamental pillars that guarantee female loyalty. Each of them is a piece of the puzzle. Ignore just one and the whole castle crumbles. First pillar. The brutal difference between pleasing and being valued. Do you think that by doing everything she wants, agreeing with everything, being the perfect nice guy, you guarantee her loyalty? Wake up, man. That's the perfect recipe for disaster. When you live to please, you become predictable, boring, disposable. Being valued is another story. It's when she recognizes that you have something unique, something that no one else offers. I'm not talking about money or status. I'm talking about character, principles, a solid masculine energy that doesn't bend at the first test. Remember that friend of yours whose wife treats him like a king. The one who doesn't do half of what you do, but is still respected. He doesn't please. He is valued. The difference is that he established from the beginning that his time, his energy, his presence have value. And she recognizes that. Real example, Joao spent every weekend doing what his girlfriend wanted. Shopping, lunch with her family, Netflix with the movies she chose. Result. After 2 years, she broke up with him saying he was too, by the book, too predictable. Pedro, on the other hand, made his boundaries clear. Sunday mornings were sacred for soccer with friends. Thursday nights were for poker with the guys. Pedro's girlfriend. 3 years together and she fights with other women who get close to him. The difference is crystal clear. Can you feel the difference? Second pillar. The magnetic power of a clear life purpose. A woman is biologically programmed to feel attraction to men with direction. It's a primitive instinct. It comes from the caves. The man who knew where he was going was the one who brought food, protection, a future. That hasn't changed. The software is the same, only the hardware has evolved. When you have a clear purpose, a life mission that transcends the straight and narrow, you become a magnet. She feels like she's next to someone who is building something bigger. It's about having something as important as her in your life. Think of an entrepreneur focused on building his business. An athlete training for an important competition. An artist creating his masterpiece. These guys have a sparkle in their eye that no amount of money can buy. Studies show that women in relationships with men focused on their purpose report satisfaction and loyalty levels 3 times higher. Because she feels like she's part of something epic, not a mediocre, directionless little life. Your purpose is your magnetic north. Without it, you're just another boat adrift in the ocean. With it, you become the safe harbor she'll always want to return to. Does that make sense to you? Third pillar. Emotional self-sufficiency is the greatest aphrodisiac. Listen to this carefully. The biggest turn-off for any woman is an emotionally dependent man. The one who needs constant validation. Who gets upset by any comment. Who can't be okay alone. This is maximum level female repellent. Emotional self-sufficiency means that your happiness, your peace, your well-being do not depend on her. You are complete on your own. She is a bonus in your life, not the reason for it. When you reach this level, something magical happens. She realizes she can't control you with emotional games. You know that test she does. She gets distant to see if you'll chase her. She takes a long time to respond to a message to see if you freak out. She mentions another guy to see if you get jealous. When you are emotionally self-sufficient, these tests become a joke. You don't even notice you're being tested. I'll tell you about Carlos. The guy was so needy he would call his girlfriend 5 times a day just to hear her voice. If she took 10 minutes to reply on WhatsApp, he already thought she was with someone else. She broke up with him in 3 months. After a lot of therapy and inner work, Carlos became a different man. Now he meditates every morning. He has his hobbies, his friends, his life. His current girlfriend. 2 years together and she's the one who's worried about losing him. Total transformation. Can you imagine that freedom? Establishing boundaries without fear of loss. This is where the secret that few apply lies. Most men are so afraid of losing the woman that they accept anything. Disrespect, humiliation, emotional betrayal. All in the name of keeping the relationship. But let me tell you a hard truth. A woman doesn't respect a man without boundaries. Boundaries are not about being controlling or authoritarian. They're about self-respect. It's about clearly communicating what you accept and what you don't. And most importantly, being willing to lose her if those boundaries are crossed. When you set healthy boundaries, an interesting paradox happens. Instead of pushing her away, you attract her even more. Why? Because you demonstrate that you have options, that you're not desperate, that you value yourself enough not to accept crumbs. Remember that classic scene. She arrives 2 hours late for a date without an explanation. The desperate guy accepts, smiles, pretends everything is okay. The man with boundaries politely explains that his time is valuable and that this cannot be repeated. If it happens again, he simply gets up from the table and leaves. Which of the two do you think she will respect more? This makes you think, doesn't it? Fifth pillar. Being the protagonist of your story. This is the most important of all. Pay close attention now. Most men become a supporting character in their own lives when they enter a relationship. His life revolves around her. His plans become her plans. His dreams are replaced by her dreams. This is romantic suicide. A woman doesn't want a doormat. She wants a leader. I'm not talking about bossing her around. I'm talking about leading your own life with so much conviction that she naturally wants to be part of that journey. Being a protagonist means taking the reins. Planning the dates instead of always asking her what she wants to do. Having your own opinion instead of always agreeing. Maintaining your hobbies and friendships instead of abandoning everything for her. I'll give you an example that will make everything clear. 2 brothers. Same upbringing, same social level. Andre molded his entire life around his girlfriend. He changed jobs to be closer to her. He stopped going out with friends because she didn't like it. He even changed his haircut to please her. Result: she lost interest in 6 months and broke up with him. Bruno did it differently. He maintained his gym routine, his personal projects, his friendships. His girlfriend complained at first. She made a scene. She threatened to break up. He stood his ground. He calmly explained that it was important to him. Do you know what happened? Not only did she accept it, but she came to admire his determination. 3 years later, she is the biggest supporter of his projects. The lesson is crystal clear. Does it all make sense now? Now let me destroy the biggest objection that must be going through your head. You must be thinking that this is all very selfish. That a relationship is about making the other person happy, about giving yourself, about mutual sacrifice. Hurry up. Wake up to reality. This is Disney movie propaganda. In the real world, you can't give what you don't have. If you're not okay with yourself, if you don't value yourself, if you don't have an interesting life, what exactly do you have to offer? Think of an empty cup trying to fill another cup. Impossible, right? You first need to fill yourself with purpose. You need to first fill yourself with purpose, with value, with experiences, with growth. Only then will you have something genuine to share. An intelligent woman notices the difference between a man who gives because he has an abundance and one who gives because he is desperate for crumbs of affection. Focusing on yourself is not selfishness. It's the fundamental basis for building something solid and lasting. It's the difference between a relationship based on need and one based on choice. She stays with you not because she needs to, but because she wants to. And that's the only loyalty that really matters. Let me tell you about a phenomenon I've been observing for years. The most loyal men I know, the ones women fight to keep, have something in common. They treat the relationship as a seasoning in life, not as the main course. Their lives are already flavorful. The relationship just adds more flavor. When you become the main course of your own life, when your purpose, your goals, your personal growth take center stage, something magical happens. You stop needing her. And when you don't need, you choose. And when it's a choice, not a need, the dynamic changes completely. Remember the internal radar every woman has. The one that detects desperation from miles away. When you are complete, focused, fulfilled with your own journey, this radar detects something else. It detects a man of value, a prize, someone worth fighting to keep. Now I'm going to give you a practical technique to start today. The 50-30-20 rule of masculine energy. 50% of your energy goes to your main purpose, be it career, business, art, sport. 30% goes to your personal development, health, knowledge, spirituality. Only 20% goes to the relationship. Does it seem little? It's exactly the opposite. That 20% is worth more than the 100% of a desperate man. Because it's 20% premium quality, from a fulfilled, confident man, with overflowing masculine energy. I'm going to tell you a secret that almost no one has learned. When you follow this proportion, she will naturally want more of you. She will fight to gain more space in your life. And that's the sweet spot. Her valuing every moment, every bit of attention, every gesture from you. It's not manipulation, it's the natural dynamic of value and scarcity. Think of an exclusive show with only 100 tickets versus a free show in a public square. Which one has more perceived value? Which one do people fight for? Your attention, your time, your energy need to have that same exclusivity. Do you know what impresses me the most? The number of men who intuitively know this, but don't apply it. The fear of being alone is so great that they prefer to live a comfortable lie than risk living a transformative truth. They prefer the security of mediocrity to the risk of excellence. But you're not like that, are you? You didn't get this far in this video to continue being just another one. You want the truth, no matter how hard it is. You want real results, not empty promises. So, I'm going to give you another dose of reality. Female loyalty is not conquered. You don't convince a woman to be loyal. You become the kind of man who naturally inspires loyalty. It's a complete paradigm shift. Imagine that dinner I mentioned at the beginning. You're with her at a sophisticated restaurant. That soft jazz music in the background. The aroma of red wine filling the air. Suddenly, one of her exes or a work colleague who is clearly interested in her shows up. The average man gets tense. Insecure. He starts marking his territory like a scared dog. He makes a point of showing that she's his. He starts sizing up the other guy. It changes completely. She notices all this and knows it comes from insecurity, not strength. Now imagine yourself applying everything you've learned here. You greet the guy with a genuine and confident smile. You continue the conversation naturally, without altering your emotional state. Because you know your worth. You know that if she chooses someone else, the loss is hers, not yours. That energy, that unshakable confidence is what generates true loyalty. She looks at you and sees a man who is not shaken by any wind. A man who has other options, but chooses to be with her. A man who doesn't need her to be complete. That, my friend, is irresistible. Do you want to know what happens next? The other guy just becomes one more. She doesn't even remember his name 5 minutes after he leaves. Because she is magnetized by your solid presence. By your unshakable energy. By your intrinsic value that doesn't depend on external validation. This is the power of being the lighthouse. You don't move, you don't despair, you don't beg. You simply shine with your own light. And the ships, all of them, orient themselves by you. Some leave, it's true. But the ones who stay because they recognize that your light is unique, reliable, necessary. The truth that few men want to accept is this. The right woman, the one who is really worth it, doesn't want a man who lives. She wants a man who lives an epic life and invites her to be a part of it. She wants to be the hero's companion, not a needy boy's babysitter. Think of the most solid couples you know. The ones that last for decades and still have that sparkle in their eyes. I guarantee that the man in these relationships is not an emotional doormat. He is someone with a clear purpose, defined boundaries, his own life. And the woman, as loyal as a soldier to her. Not out of obligation, but out of genuine admiration. Now I'm going to share something that will change your perspective forever. The loyalty you seek already exists. It's just waiting for the right man to appear. Not the perfect man, but the true man. The one who is not afraid to be who he is, to pursue his dreams, to set his own terms. Every woman of value has within her the deep desire to be loyal to a man who deserves that loyalty. It's biological programming, an instinct from thousands of years ago, but she only releases that loyalty to those who prove themselves worthy of it. And dignity cannot be bought, begged for, or negotiated, it is conquered through self-development. You must be wondering where to start. It's simple. Today, before you go to sleep, take a piece of paper and write down 3 things. First, what is your life's purpose beyond the relationship? Second, 3 non-negotiable boundaries that you will establish from now on. Third, one of your own activities that you abandoned because of a relationship and that you will resume. It seems too simple. The greatest secrets usually are. The difference lies in who applies and who just consumes information. Studies show that only 3% of men who learn these concepts actually apply them. These are the 3% who live in a situation of inequality. These are the 3% who live in extraordinary relationships. The choice is now yours. To continue in the matrix of the average man, living on crumbs of attention, begging for loyalty that never comes. Or to wake up to the reality that you are the prize, you are the value, you are the lighthouse that she needs to find to not sink in the sea of mediocre men. Remember what I told you at the beginning. You are not a ship chasing other ships. You are the lighthouse. Immovable. Solid. The ships that recognize your value will always return to you. The ones that don't recognize it, let them sail on. They weren't for you anyway. From today on, every time you feel that insecurity rising, that urge to check her phone, that fear of losing her, remember this conversation. Remember that loyalty is not begged for, it is attracted. Remember that you don't need her to be complete. Remember that your value is independent of her presence in your life. This is the ultra-rare secret that has transformed the love lives of thousands of men. It's not about conquest techniques. It's not about what to say or how to act. It's about who you become. It's about developing a masculine energy so solid, a purpose so clear, a life so interesting that her loyalty becomes a natural consequence. Pay attention because I'm only going to say this once. The man you need to become to attract genuine loyalty already exists within you. He is just buried under layers of social conditioning, fear, and insecurity. Your job is not to become another person. It's to remove those layers and let your true masculine essence emerge. When that happens, when you finally become the protagonist of your own story, something magical occurs. You stop attracting needy, dramatic, disloyal women. You start attracting women of value, who recognize and respect a real man. The quality of your relationships changes drastically. I'm not selling you an impossible dream. I'm showing you a reality that few men have the courage to seek. Most prefer the comfort of mediocrity, complaining that all women are the same, that loyalty. What has changed is the quality of men, not women. Be different. Be the man who doesn't need to ask for loyalty because he inspires it naturally. Be the lighthouse that doesn't move regardless of the storm. Be the prize she's afraid to lose. Not the beggar who's afraid to be alone. The transformation begins now, at this very moment. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next year. Every second you delay is a second living below your potential, accepting less than you deserve, being less than you can be. Before I finish, I want you to do something important. Like this video now, before you forget. Subscribe to the Black Pill Femme channel. Activate the bell, not for me, but for you, because the next content will deepen this transformation even more, will give you the practical tools to move from theory to action. Take the opportunity to purchase Guide to Dismantling and Neutralizing Female Plays in Love, a work that uncovers several hidden aspects of women and is at a promotional price, and will soon increase in value. Peace to all, warriors forward, and see you in the next video.